Hi everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to so many of you who've subscribed to my blog. I know you're looking for those printables and they are coming soon. The reason why I haven't released them yet is because I haven't received my A6 planner yet. That comes in tonight on the airplane with my cousin. So once as I've double checked my measurements and make sure that those formats work in that planner, then I'll release those printables to you. But I'm also releasing some quotes as free printables that I've designed to go into traveler's notebooks, the standard size, as well as 3x4 journaling size cards. Those sizes will fit into your A6 planner if you're using that size as well, just like I am this year. Sorry, I keep forgetting there's a microphone there. So what I ended up doing was I had this art journal from Jane Davenport, and it's been sitting on my shelf since June of last year. I love all of her things, but I was stumped with what felt like I needed to have more perfection with my handwriting or with drawing the faces like the way Jane does, and it just wasn't working for me. So I got frustrated and I gave up, and there it sat, along with all the other things. For example, there's these beautiful collage papers. I have all these little washi tapes with faces and eyes. This cute little washi tape, as well as even just some basic coloring pencils. She calls them her magic wands. So I have all of these just sitting there. And I also bought the mixed media book insert as well as the watercolor insert, but I hadn't touched it. It was just so overwhelming to me. Well, I finally broke the page today. So let me show you what today's project is about and what free printable I'm releasing today. So if you know Jane Davenport, you recognize this portrait. This is something she drew, and it's on those collage papers. So I put that in here, and also I created this printable here, and I traced it after I printed it out and put it in the journal. So let me show you the process in this process video. Hi everyone, I don't know if you're like me and have had your Jane Davenport stuff in your stash for months and it's still sitting there. So I decided that I'm going to pull this out, and this is strictly going to be an art journal. The planner videos will continue on a separate series, and this is going to be an art journal series with mixed media. That's what I bought this particular journal for. So this one I bought the charm separate. This is the Butterfly Effects book, and it is just the canvas. And inside of it, I unboxed this several months ago when I first got it, and I haven't used it. So now we are going to dive in today. So I'm going to start with this insert that I bought. This is the mixed media insert, and all it is mixed media paper with a perforated line down the middle. So I want to be kind of careful with these, but how I've decided to work with these is as an entire page. Because they're not stapled together, and I want to keep it that way, because especially when working with mixed media, this allows me to do whatever I want without messing up anything else in the journal. So these will probably be front and back, and by the time I'm done, when I put this all together, it'll be like one side of quotes and another side of, it's going to be mixed and matched. It's not going to be one layout per page turn. Is going to be mixed with whatever I happened to create on that. So that's what I decided to do with this little journal. Also in here, I have watercolor paper. So we'll do some of those as well in my Jane Davenport series. And then these are just the little folders that I bought separately. They came in I guess it's a 4-pack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 of them came together. So I'm finally going to use up these supplies that have been sitting here. I also have the Jane Davenport colored pencils. So these colors coordinate with all of her products. These are the collage papers. They come in this package. I want to say it's 4 napkins per design. So I have those. We'll use those today. I'm going to use some Dina Wakley white gesso for my background. And then to write my words, I'm going to use my Faber-Castell Pitt pens. So we'll see how all these work together. So to start, I'm going to take my printable. Now it looks a little different because I've added some washi. I wanted to see if I wanted to work with any of these arrows on it. I decided to not go the washi route. So at this point, you can take the printable that I made and you can just cut it to fit your page if you want. It's the exact size. If you print the printable, the PDF that is on my website as, what is it called? Actual size, not fit to page, not shrink to fit, just do actual size on the PDF when you open it up in Acrobat Reader. Now the other benefit to this file is I'm making it available in 2 formats. I made it in a PDF version because I figured that that's what most people would be using. But if you have a Cricut or the Silhouette Cameo and you want to be able to cut out these letters, you can do that as well. It's a little more cumbersome with some of the smaller words, so I don't really recommend that, but you can change this since I saved it as a PNG. So you can upload this file as a PNG into those softwares. That will allow you to change the color of the font. It will allow you to use your pens with the adapter tool and write out this font on your machines. It's not going to fill it in, but it'll write the outline for you. And I'll demonstrate that in a future video. This particular video, since most people who are getting started don't necessarily have those machines, I wanted to show this method first so that anybody can do this by just having a simple printer at home. So I don't have to be real specific with these edges since it's in this notebook. So I'm not going to worry about cutting these edges. All I'm going to do is tear it to the approximate size, and then I'm going to trace these letters into my journal. Okay, so here you can see you have the option to just tear it out, add the coloring you want, and you can glue it right into your journal. That's the easiest way to do it. But do I do things the easy way? Of course not. What others do is if they want to trace the pattern into their book, many will take a pencil and just cover the entire back with pencil. And you can do that. That's completely fine. That's the cheap man's way of doing it and the easy way. It's also the easier way to be able to erase your pencil lines because it's truly pencil. But what I'm doing is I'm using graphite paper because I know I'm going to be coloring over this with Pitt markers. My pencil lines aren't going to show anyway. So I got this graphite paper from Michaels, and I really like using graphite paper because then I don't have to trace everything with my hand. So I prefer to use this. So that's what I'm using today. And all I do is, first of all, I have to make sure I have a big enough piece that covers the entire thing. You'll see it's kind of short. So I'm going to use another piece that I've used before. And I'm going to tape these guys down. Now what you'll want to do is the graphite side is the dark side. The light, smooth side is what needs to be up facing you. So I'm just going to use my line down the middle as a guideline and a little bit of this washi tape that I've already used as I was experimenting earlier on something else. So just hold down my graphite paper there, and I'm going to continue with another piece right here just because I want to make sure the whole thing is covered. Now I will take this and center it the best I can and how I want it in here. Same thing, little piece of washi here and maybe another little piece down this edge to really keep it in place. Okay, now I'll use my pencil, or you can use a colored pencil. Let me do that so you can see what I'm doing better. If you use a colored pencil, sometimes you can see what you're tracing better, and that way you don't miss anything. So I'll use one of the red pencils from my Jane Davenport, the Magic Wands. And since I want to fill these in with a marker, I'm going to try to trace the outline on as many of these as I can. Now these little words, obviously, we don't need to fill these in. So. Okay, so after I finish tracing it, I can take that paper off and I have the good outline of exactly the words that I want. Now, before I go further, I want to add a little bit more color to my background, and I'm going to do that with my Dina Wakley scribble sticks. Now what these are is they react with water. They do very well on gesso. So I'm just going to add some color splashes here and there. But also I'm going to be doing some mixed media and collaging these collage papers on here. So for example, I wanted this paper to highlight certain words. So I want to check and make sure which words I want to highlight, and then decide how I want to continue with coloring. When you decide which pieces you want, the easiest way to tear this paper is really to wet it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. If I just wet these seams, I'll be able to tear it a lot more easily. So I'm going to trace out some of these words with just some black Sharpie. The gesso is going to protect the bleed through, so make sure to use gesso. And also, if it does go through a little bit, which I doubt it will at all, I'm going to be gessoing the other side anyway. this Vicki Boutin Iridescent Glaze, just a little bit of it with my Prima Art Basics brush, silicone brush. I just added some lines right up here and smoothed them out. Added some through here to add just a little bit more texture to the page, as well as highlighted some words with it, and then dried it with the heat tool. Okay, so now that you've seen the process, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. I implemented several mixed media artists, and I'm going to link them all below. The first one, obviously, is Jane Davenport. Sorry, I have everything falling out of it. The first one is Jane Davenport. These are her collage papers. Secondly is I wrote some journaling around the girl's face. That I got from Dina Wakley. And you may have seen when I put my gesso down, that was the white gesso from Dina Wakley. And I love the coverage that that one gives. I do have some other brands of gesso, but hers is really nice and thick and covers things really well. So I really liked that. And then the rest of these are also from Jane Davenport. So let me show you what that box looks like. The box looks like this, and she calls them her collage papers. And I think in the video I may have missed the step of showing you how to separate the tissue. So I wanted to do that real quick. So the collage papers come like this. It comes like a napkin, and this is a section I already used. It's a 2-ply. So what you'll want to do is this white backing, you'll want to make sure to gently peel it off. Separate it. You can save it and use it for whatever. I just use it to wipe off my brushes since I'm usually using paint brushes during that time. So then all you're left is with this one thin layer right here. That will help your piece lay a little more flat when you do put it down. Now another thing is that in mine you'll see it has some texture to it, and that's because I had a lot of liquid on my paper. If you don't want yours to be as texturized or to have as much wrinkles in it, use less liquid. Maybe let your gesso dry completely for a while. Don't use as much matte medium underneath it as I did. Those various options. Now also this shiny material here, it's the iridescent paste from Vicki Boutin and American Crafts. So those are several different mixed media artists that I took inspiration from in order to do this page. Now this particular paper that I did it on is the mixed media paper. So I bought the mixed media insert and added it to this notebook. Again, I got all these supplies at Michael's, and if you can't find them at Michael's, Jane Davenport usually still has them on her website. So I will link those below. But that quote, I'm going to again put that on my blog. So go ahead and subscribe below. I'll have my link below so that you can get emailed that password and download either the PDF or the PNG. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.